One thing that's pretty much always been a constant truth in Pokémon is that Pokémon can have up to 2 evolutions and 3 stages when evolving. This was established all the way back at the beginning of the franchise with Red and Blue, and other than some special situations such as Mega Evolution, this has remained true. I think a lot of fans have wondered, however, what it would be like if Pokémon were able to evolve again and receive a 4th stage evolution. In fact, Peter S. Torkild wondered as much in a comment on one of my recent videos and suggested it as a video idea, and I thought that sounded like a pretty cool idea to explore, so that is exactly what we're going to be looking at today. So strap on in and get ready to find out what it could be like if some Pokémon had a 4th stage evolution. Just like these Pokémon, I was recently given the chance to evolve as well, thanks to the wonderful sponsor of today's video, Established Titles. You see, these beautiful people helped me evolve into a literal lord by gifting me a square foot of land in Scotland. It's all based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are known as lords and ladies. Established Titles will get you a plot of land with its own unique number on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and it even comes with an official certificate of ownership just like this one. This literally gives you the official title of Lord or Lady, meaning you could have it put on stuff like your credit cards, plane tickets, or anything else that includes one's formal title. Not to mention, you can say you own land in Scotland. They also partner with charities such as One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future, and plant 1 tree with every order to support global reforestation efforts. So it's a gift that will also support a good cause. So if you want to be a Scottish landowner yourself or need a great last-minute gift this holiday season, you can use the link in the description to grab your very own plot of land. The first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will also be right next to my plot, within just a few minutes of walking distance, meaning if enough of you decide you want to become a lord or lady, we could even build a little Hoops and Hip Hop kingdom right inside Scotland. They're also running a Black Friday sale right now, and you can even get 10% off any purchase when you use code HOOPS at checkout. So be sure to check that out, and a big thank you to Established Titles for supporting the channel. Alrighty, so the designs I'm going to be featuring in today's video were drawn by my good friend Trevenart, and he does seriously amazing work, so be sure to check him out on Twitter or Instagram with the links in the description. With that said, the first Pokemon we are going to highlight today are the Pikachu family. I thought the Pikachu family were a perfect candidate for a 4th stage evolution for several reasons. Number 1, it's Pikachu, so it wouldn't really be unheard of for it to get this special treatment if something like this ever did happen for real. Second, Raichu definitely feels like it still has room to grow, and that's because 3, originally it did have an evolution. As has been widely publicized, it was revealed in an interview with Game Freak staff a few years ago that Raichu originally had an evolution named Gorochu back during the development of Gen 1, but it was cut for balancing purposes. When Gen 2 came along, meanwhile, they ultimately decided to go with Pichu as a pre-evolution of this family instead of bringing Gorochu back, which made this line a 3-stage family just without Gorochu. So if 4-stage evolutions ever became a thing for real, it would be the perfect opportunity to bring back Gorochu, and this is our interpretation of it. In those aforementioned interviews, Gorochu was mentioned as having horns and fangs, and overall just sounded like it was more monstrous than Pikachu and Raichu, which we decided to retain here. However, I didn't just want to design exactly what they described in that interview and call it a day, because if they ever did bring Gorochu back for real, it would definitely be in a modern form compared to whatever was designed back then. That is why I also decided to make this Gorochu an electric dark type. since not only does it have the monstrous features going for it, but its name, Gorochu, also comes from the term Gorogoro, a Japanese onomatopoeia used to describe the sound of thunder, which of course comes from dark thunder clouds. Between the history of Gorochu, Pikachu being Pokemon's mascot, and Raichu simply being the kind of Pokemon that could legitimately evolve again, Gorochu would be the perfect Pokemon to introduce a new 4th stage evolution mechanic like this, so hopefully someday we'll get to see it make its official debut. Next up, the second Pokemon I want to take a look at is Dragonite. Now, you're probably thinking that Dragonite is already a pseudo-legendary, and it would be unbelievably broken if it received another evolution on top of that. Well, in theory that is true, however the reason why I chose to highlight Dragonite here is because it is one of the few pseudo-legendary Pokemon that hasn't received any special treatment like this. There are already 4 pseudo-legendaries that have got mega evolutions, and with the addition of Hisui and Goodra, over half of them have gotten some kind of special form such as this. So I think it's only fair that the original pseudo-legendary also gets the same treatment, especially considering it wouldn't really be much more broken than the aforementioned pseudo-legendaries already are. Therefore, I present to you Dragonite, the Divine Dragon Pokemon. Now, while Dragonite is that special treatment that Dragonite so desperately deserves, it's also an example of another approach that I believe could be taken for the 4th stage evolution concept. As you can see, Dragonite has a very heavenly look, and upon Trevenart and I settling on this design, I thought that this maybe could be the theme behind these 4th stage evolutions. Since they would obviously be exceptionally powerful, these evolutions could take on a god or deity-like theme, and all appear either heavenly, like Dragonite here, or just super powerful and godlike, and overall just divine in general. They could even be known as divine Pokemon, since I'm sure if this ever happened, that these Pokemon would probably have some kind of special title to distinguish themselves, similar to Mega Evolutions or regional variants. This godlike theme is also where Dragonite gets its name, as it simply uses the word dragon, just like its pre-evolutions, as well as the word divine, referring to its more heavenly appearance and this idea of more godlike, divine Pokemon. I think this would definitely give Dragonite the proper amount of love that it's been lacking for a little while now, and personally, I think the idea of divine Pokemon would be a super cool way to approach this 4th evolution concept. For our 3rd evolution of the video, we've got another Pokemon that, just like Dragonite, has been similarly neglected in terms of the spotlight, and that would be Flygon. Pretty much all of us know the story by now of how Flygon was going to get its own Mega Evolution back in Gen 6, but the idea was cut after Ken Sugimori got Artist's Block, and they've just never done anything to give Flygon some special attention since. It was so close to greatness, but hasn't been able to recapture that spotlight since, which, even though it is also a pretty fully grown Pokemon in its own right, is the reason why it would be a great candidate for this 4th stage evolution treatment. And with that said, meet Diagon, the Mystic Pokemon. Diagon is also going for this divine Pokemon moniker I mentioned with Dragonite, which is why its name comes from deity and dragon. While there are definitely other ways they could make this concept work as well, in my opinion, I think this particular approach gives these kinds of Pokemon, who otherwise might not seem like they have any more room to grow, the perfect reason to grow some more, and also do it in a way that would probably have a lot of cool lore attached to them as well. Plus, I feel like anything that allows for a giant god dragon bug like this is just a good way to go. I've also opted to keep Diagon ground dragon type upon evolving, since it does already gain the dragon type partway through the evolution process into Flygon, and I wasn't sure if gaining/changing types twice throughout its evolutions would be too much if I were to give it that Bug Dragon type, but also at the same time, Bug Dragon is the typing that everyone has wanted Flygon to have forever. So I feel like giving Diagon this typing at the same time would just be the icing on the cake to truly give Flygon the redemption arc it so rightly deserves. You guys will have to let me know though if you think it could pull off gaining a second type like that, and what you think of the whole divine Pokemon idea as well, and if you would ever like to see some Pokemon get a 4th stage evolution for real someday. With that said, be sure to leave the video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I will see you next time with another new video very soon. Until then, as always, thank you guys so much for watching this one, I really appreciate it, and I will smell you guys later.